Deportation is not just a policy, it is a lived reality with devastating consequences for individuals, families, and communities. Imagine a child coming home from school, only to find an empty house, their parents gone, detained, or deported. The trauma of family separation casts a long shadow, particularly on young children, impacting their mental and emotional well-being for years to come. Parents, often the sole breadwinners, are ripped away from their children, leaving them vulnerable and without support. The ripple effects of these separations are felt throughout entire communities, as neighbors and friends struggle to fill the void. Beyond the immediate emotional toll, deportation can have severe long-term consequences. Children who witness their parents' detention or deportation may experience anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. They may face economic hardship and struggle to access education and healthcare. The loss of a parent can also lead to social isolation and stigmatization, further compounding their suffering. The human cost of deportation is immeasurable, leaving deep scars on individuals, families, and communities. It is a policy that inflicts pain and suffering, tearing apart the very fabric of our society. We must recognize the profound impact of deportation on human lives and strive for policies that prioritize compassion and family unity. Deportation is often touted as a solution to economic challenges, but the reality is far more complex. Immigrants, including undocumented workers, play a vital role in the U.S. economy, contributing their labor and skills to various sectors. They are often employed in essential industries such as agriculture, construction, and hospitality, filling labor gaps and supporting economic growth. Deportation would remove these workers from the workforce, creating labor shortages and disrupting key industries. The economic costs of mass deportation would be staggering. The government would incur significant expenses in identifying, detaining, and deporting millions of people. These costs would divert resources from essential services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Moreover, the loss of tax revenue from deported workers would further strain the economy. Deportation is not only inhumane, but also economically counterproductive. It undermines the contributions of immigrants, disrupts businesses, and burdens taxpayers. We need comprehensive immigration reform that recognizes the economic value of immigrants and provides pathways to legalization for undocumented workers. Deportation policies often operate in a legal and moral gray area, raising serious concerns about due process and human rights violations. The process of identifying and detaining undocumented immigrants can be fraught with racial profiling and discrimination. People of color, particularly Latinos and Muslims, are disproportionately targeted for immigration checks, even if they are U.S. citizens or legal residents. Deportation can also violate international law, particularly the principle of non-refoulement, which prohibits countries from returning asylum seekers to places where they face persecution. The Trump administration's attempts to dismantle the asylum system and deport asylum seekers without due process drew widespread condemnation. These policies put vulnerable individuals, including families fleeing violence and persecution, at grave risk. Deportation is not just a legal issue, it is a moral one. It raises fundamental questions about our values as a nation and our commitment to human rights. We cannot stand by while people are denied due process, discriminated against, and deported to dangerous situations. We must demand accountability, transparency, and justice in our immigration system. Deportation is a complex issue with far-reaching consequences. While it is essential to enforce immigration laws, we must do so in a way that upholds human rights, promotes family unity, and recognizes the contributions of immigrants. We need humane immigration policies that prioritize compassion, fairness, and due process. Instead of resorting to mass deportation, we should focus on creating a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who are already contributing to our communities. This would allow them to come out of the shadows, pay taxes, and fully participate in society. We should also reform our legal immigration system to make it more efficient, accessible, and responsive to the needs of our economy. Ultimately, we must move away from the politics of fear and division and embrace a more compassionate and humane approach to immigration. By recognizing the humanity of all people, regardless of their immigration status, we can create a more just and equitable society for all.